for inviting us to today. And I'm here with my colleague Kevin Say, who's on the UK education team, and Dominic Trainer, who's one of our presenters in the UK education team. And thanks for the backup, Gareth from Digital Schoolhouse.
Um,
So in the chat, if you can say hello, just so we can get an idea of where you're zooming in from, and if you're a student or a teacher, we'd love to know that so we can adjust some of the content accordingly as we go along. But if not, I'm just going to share my screen now with the details of the competition. Okay. Okay. So if you want to talk us through this, please, Yerin, the competition with Digital Schoolhouse.
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me all right? Can everybody
Yes.
hear me all right? Good. Apologies. My computer is really laggy, so it took ages for me to unmute. Yeah. So just let me know if I start to lag my voice. So welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining. I know that some of you are teaching today, and thank you for make time to join us at the creative webinar that we do with Adobe for Education. This is our second year working with Adobe on the Creative Careers competition, and this is the opportunity for your students to participate in the sort of this. Creative Careers competition alongside of our esports tournament. It has grown significantly in the past year, which is why we have made it a standalone event to encourage students with different skills to sort of participate in our flagship event of the year. So yeah, this is mainly for you, for all the teachers to learn about Adobe Express, how to deploy it in your school, how to install it, and how to sort of guide your student um, to explore the different functions in Adobe Express. And thank you very much for Kevin, Dom, and Sean to join our session. And yeah, back to you, Sean.
Thank you very much, Shirin. Yeah, so that's great news. So Adobe Express for Education is free for schools. So if you're a school or a teacher and you want to get started, it's very easy to get started with Adobe Express, and it's a really incredible tool for students to use to think visually and design easily, really. It's really intuitive with lots of scaffolding and guided activities in. And yeah, and perfect for an esports competition or esports marketing to create those future careers. So I'm just going to scroll down a bit. So if you don't have Adobe Express, I'm just going to hand you over to my friend Kevin, who will let you know how you can get it for your school. Over to you, Kevin.
Great, thanks, Sean. Hello, everybody. And yeah, I'm Kevin. I'm one of these technical people who works in the Adobe Education team. So I kind of help schools get on board with Adobe Express and things like that. But the great thing about it is we've made it absolutely super easy. So if you're a school that already has Adobe products like Photoshop and things like that, then your IT admin can easily just enable Express for free, as Sean said, as well. And if if you don't have Adobe products at school, that's no problem at all, because we even have a little sort of self onboarding wizard that they can use as well. So I think the simple thing is, if you haven't got Adobe Express at school, is ask your teacher to speak to the IT guys, and it costs nothing to the school. Now, remember, Adobe Express itself is actually web-based, so it's going to work on anything from Macs to Windows PCs to Chromebooks, and on the iPad, it's app-based as well. So you can do this on any device, and once you've got Adobe Express, you can even use it at home by signing in with your school account as well. So everything that you see today will work across any device quite happily. So yeah, if you have any questions, anything like that, we're always here to help get your school enrolled in Adobe Express. So Sean, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you went back to me. Yeah, so yeah, today's session will be recorded. So yeah, so we can go back anytime once Dom gets started on the demo because he's a bit of a pro in the demos. So yeah, once he gets started, don't worry about not being able to keep up because he's got over 5 years experience in Adobe Express. So, but yeah, I'm sure, yeah, watching him, you hopefully you get some real inspiration for yourself. And yeah, and just to say, all of us just are so passionate about this tool for students. And yeah, we definitely think it's something that's going to help you in your future careers. So first of all, we're going to start off with the marketing competition then. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and hand you over to Dom to go through create a logo in Adobe Express for Education.
Cheers. Thanks, Sean. Okay. Right. Let me just share, and then Sean, just give me the heads up that you can see.
Yeah, all good,
Yeah,
Dom.
cool. Just going to switch to the student view. Okay, cool. Right. So this is the Creative Careers competition. There's two parts to it. There's journalism and marketing. Okay, that's the first bit about how to get it in your school. You've got the journalism competition. This is create an article with Adobe Express, covering like an esports team that you've created, maybe one of your friends, a group of your friends, for example. And it's saying write an article interviewing your esports team. Now, what I thought was before we do that, we should actually go and create a logo for this esports team, which is actually in the order here. Not that there's any particular order, but in the order here, it's the marketing competition. So we're going to start with that so that we've got something to put into our article when we go back to that for the journalism competition. Right. As Sean said before, there's absolutely no need whatsoever for you to feel like you need to keep up. It's more like this is going to be a quick whistle stop of exactly how you would use Adobe Express, the kind of things you can use in Adobe Express, so that then you can take your ideas and go and do it, on your own time. So let me just reduce this down. There we go. Perfect. So you can see here, you've got create a logo with Adobe Express, and you have a template here. I've just been messing around with this template. It's quite good fun, actually. I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can do this. So it says try the Adobe Express for Education logo template, and there's a clickable link right here. So I'm going to click that. It's going to open up here. Right. It says here you can use the template, so you can click down there. Now, first look at this. This is a mess. It's a mess because you need to go and put your own stamp on it. You shouldn't be, using this as your logo. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start picking apart exactly what this is. Okay. So you've got quick replace things here. You've got this Phoenix Esports logo in the middle here. You've also got your background in here as well. So you can click on backgrounds and then change it up and that kind of thing. I don't mind the text here, actually, so I'm going to keep this. Now, you can see if you start moving it about, there's all sorts of things underneath trying to sort of make it into this really nice and chunky logo. So I'm going to leave that there because you can play around with text all day. But this thing in the middle here, this Phoenix Esports logo, I like it, but I'm going to delete it, and I want to show you exactly how I would go about it. So you're going to click it, and then you can see you've got a bin there you can get rid of. There we go. So we've got nothing going on here. My days, what are we going to do? Right. So everything you need in Adobe Express is down the left-hand side here. Okay. This is where you want to be. And most of the places you want to be are media, text, and elements. Media, text, and elements. Right. So if we go with the name Phoenix, for example, I would be starting off in media. Now, you could search in the photos for Phoenix, I suppose. I haven't actually done a search for that before. No, it's just going to give us Phoenix the place. So that's kind of basically next to useless unless your esports logo is going to be a cactus. But what you can do is you can go and generate an image. Now, this is grayed out. It should be like have flashing lights around it. Generate image is where all the fun happens. Now, my document here is a square document. So in terms of image size, I'm going to choose a square one. That will give me the kind of most space to work with. Now, on the left-hand panel here, everything opens up and we can start playing around. You can put reference images in and composition images and stuff like that. Have a little hover over these little buttons to work out what that's all about. But I don't need to do that. And neither do you unless you really want to go and explore it. In terms of content type, well, I think esports are going to have to turn it into a graphic. So let's make it graphic. Come on. Come on, why aren't you clicking? Let's go. There we go. Describe what you'd like to see. I'm going to say Phoenix. Phoenix coming out of flames, maybe. You know, that sort of classic line, Phoenix and the flames. I'm going to put strong lines, bold colors, bold. Maybe I'll put bold, blue, and orange colors. Okay. So that's our prompt in there. That's absolutely fine. There are lots of different styles and techniques, but generally you can cover them in your text prompt that you put in here. I'm going to click generate and let's see what we get. I could have put things like no background or white background and stuff like that, but this will be a nice way for us to actually show how the tool's used. So this is pretty cool. So you've got 4 options here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. I'll tell you why I'm not going to use 4, because I think the way that it's got the flames underneath the feet is going to be hard to remove. I'll tell you why I'm not going to use 3, because the wings of the phoenix going to disappear off the page, and I want the whole thing. 1 and 2 are pretty amazing. I don't know what all that text is, God knows. I think it might have been because I put in bold lines or something. But anyway, that's fine. I think I'll go with 2 because the colors are more striking. Right. Got that. So in order to commit that, you just click in the gray area anywhere here. Cool. Now, if you click on it again, you have on the left-hand side all sorts of options which you can start mucking around with. So first thing we're going to do is remove background. So you can see the lady in the purple sunglasses here. Give her a click. And what she's doing is just using AI to understand what the background is. Amazing. That's absolutely perfect. Right, so let's get this to the sort of size that I'm looking for. Now, what I might start doing here, you see the way it's got in the crosshairs there? That means it's bang on center, which is pretty much where I want it to be. Now, with the Phoenix, well, actually, first things first, what you'll be able to see here is that the Phoenix is sitting at the top of my layer stack on the right-hand side. Okay, and that means it's the first thing you can see. So it's kind of overshadowing the text. So actually, I'm going to start dropping it down, that kind of text. And you can decide whether you want it to be behind all the text or some of the text. Maybe that's a good spot for it to be, actually. And it's nice the way the kind of fire is poking out down the bottom. I like that. Now, one of the things with my text, if I click on this text here, is that well, I suppose this is a turquoise. I think it depends on where you are in the country or maybe what your color knowledge is. Mine's rubbish. So I'm going to call that turquoise. Now, I don't mind the turquoise, but I think I'd quite like to match it to the Phoenix, kind of this Phoenix blue here. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, use 2 fingers on trackpad, and I'm going to click on this text color little box on the left-hand side, and you can see I've got a dropper tool. So if I click the dropper tool, then I can hover over the kind of blue I'm looking for. That's a bit of a dull blue, that actually, isn't it? Maybe I'll go to the dropper tool again and choose a lighter one. Yeah, that's a bit better. I think there's even lighter again, maybe like down this side. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I like that. So I'm starting to match the colors. And then equally, esports down here. If I click that, all the ability to change everything with that text is on the left-hand side here. And maybe I'll click the text color there, go to the dropper tool, and then choose either maybe the orange or the, do you know what? I think the yellow. I think the yellow would be good. So, I mean, that hasn't changed it much, but it has meant that it has made it exactly the same as something in my image already. Other things that you can do here are, like, I like this Phoenix, but you see with the text, they're kind of chunking it out. So you see they've got these extra layers here where they're sort of really chunking out the text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chunk out my Phoenix as well. And the way I would do that is I would select it, 3 dots here, duplicate it. So now I've got 2 of exactly the same thing, right? If I put it in exactly the same place, they're right on top of each other. And I knew that because my first Phoenix was centered. And then this one is also centered now like that. But I'm using this second Phoenix as a way to kind of make the first one chunky like the text is at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is, with it selected, I'm going to, actually select the Phoenix underneath. And then I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe chuck it to the left a bit using my arrow keys, chuck it up a bit using my arrow keys. You can see it's just pointing out the top now. And then what I'll do is go to effects. Now, effects are where you can start messing around with how sort of vibrant and everything looks. But one in there in your tones is duotone. And what it does is it changes your image into a two-tone image. So I'm going to click that. Now it's made it into this kind of blue and green, which I'm not on for. So you can see on the duotone itself, it has these sliders. Give that a click. So it's got shadows of blue, highlights of this kind of neon green. Now, all I'm going to do is make both of those white. I'm going to click white, click the shadows, click white. And then I can start playing around with, where does this need to sit in order to make it a little bit more chunky. So if I kind of move it around, you see, that's where it's completely hidden. And if I want to make it chunky like the fonts, maybe I'd move it off to one side, move it down below, move it on top. Actually, moving it on top, I think, is the winner for me. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, the background in here, I mean, it's nice and everything. It doesn't really seem to tie very well with what ideas I've got in my head. So how do you change that? Well, it's really easy. Instead of at the start, you go to media, text, and elements. Well, backgrounds are all in your elements. So click that. Go to backgrounds along the top here. You can see it there. Give that a click. Search backgrounds. Right. I'm going to go for geometric blue. I was playing around with this earlier. Now, the good thing about backgrounds is you can select them and then they just kind of, change. You can see which one you think is best. Which was the one that I liked? I liked that one quite a lot, actually. But you can kind of cycle through these for hours. Actually, that one, I don't know what it was about that one. It looked like it had been made specifically for what I wanted it to be, because it's kind of got that stars, stripe of stars, whatever, that Milky Way going right through it. So there we go. That's my that is my logo, which is pretty cool. So just to make sure, I'll tell you what I didn't do, which I'm always telling people to do, is name my work. You see at the top here. So let's say like Dom's Esports logo. Okay, right. Dom's Esports logo. And then also I'm going to share, I'm going to download it. So up in the top here, got a download button. File format, don't know, maybe PNG is fine. And then I download that and that's gone straight onto my machine. Nice. Okay. Now, I will just do this really quickly, unless there's any questions or anything like that, Sean.
No questions, but I just thought, once you shared it, I mean, classrooms should be available soon, and you could add it to classrooms with your students, and then you'll be able to get feedback from your colleagues or your peers. Yeah, or do a few designs. So so no other questions, but there's plenty of ways that you can get, and that's awesome, by the way, Tom. Yeah, it does look made for it, but there's within Adobe Express, there's plenty of ways to collaborate with your peers and get ideas on how your work's going.
You can share stuff here and add people. So you can add other people's email addresses and stuff like that. You could, anyone with the link, and you could copy the link, or they can edit and they can comment. You can send it to Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, all that kind of stuff. I will just show you a very quick way in which you can create a logo which is completely unique. And it is by going to the home page here. And then you want to scroll down, and then you got this make a logo here. So in here, it says like business or organization name. What did I do before? Just let me check what I did. I did a really nice one, and I did this one, Shadow Strike. Oh yeah, I just looked up like give us a name of and stealth and strength. Okay, so it won't be exactly the same this time because it'll be AI generated. But say like my organization name is Shadow Strike, and then I'm going to put strength and stealth. I don't know, something like that. Okay, now if so that's your slogan, so your kind of team slogan. So you click next, and then you have the ability here, you see. And I think initially I put mask, like sort of like the Masked Avenger or something like that. And I kind of thought this one was quite cool. It reminded me of a lad I went to college with who used to have an ice hockey mask. because he was Canadian. And then choose a logo to start with. And I chose, the thing is that it's asking you to choose a logo style, you see. And I actually quite liked the round style here. Click that one. And then it'll create a logo for you. There you go. Look at that. So that's not bad, but it needs a bit of work, I think. So I'm going to go to like edit more down the bottom here. So if you click on edit more, all right, I've got a few things here. Shadow Strike. I quite like that as a name. I think I'm going to put that sort of towards the top. So I'm just trying to show you that like you can just change loads of things about this. I want this circle to be, right in there. Strength and stealth. I'll keep that there for now. Now, I like that ice hockey mask, but maybe it's a bit too kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure I want it. So I'm just going to delete it. Fine. Doesn't matter. It's giving me this place to start from. Then I can go to elements on the left-hand side. And we looked at backgrounds, but you've also got icons here. And that's exactly what it did before when it gave us that hockey mask. So like if you were going to put, I don't know, like Ninja or something like that, you get this one, you could stick it in the middle. You can start making it bigger, and you make sure it's slap bang in the center. That would really help. Where is it? Now, there we go. Perfect. Now, Shadow Strike. Let's make that black as well. Let's bring that. I don't know. Maybe I need to give myself a bit more space, I suppose. Shadow Strike. Let's bring that down here. Now, you can put these text layouts on an arch. Now you can start playing around with where that meant to stick. That looks pretty good. Quite like that. And then strength and stealth. I feel like that sort of needs to be a bit bolder in a way. I had this with fonts taking a while to load for me today. But let's make it a bit bigger, and then increase. Well, I was going to increase the size of the box, but you can go to text layouts again, and you can bow that one. So you've got one which is arched and one which is bowed, and then you can start to put it out. Now, getting this to match exactly to the circle is like, I was going to say it's an art, but it's not an art. It's just a constant kind of 1, 2, 3 on my keyboard. Go to the end on this side. 1, 2, 3. If you start messing around with it like this, you'll eventually get it to the point where it's like, yeah, that's just about right. Let's put that one there. It sometimes puts random dots in for you. There we go. And then, roughly I'm trying to get it into the right place here, which is around about there, I think. But you can, with this circle in the middle, you can do cool things with it, you see. You can put like a border style on it. So the fill color is yellow. The border style can be black. But I don't want it to be this kind of continuous border. I want it to be something different. So let's look at the border styles. Dotted. Yeah. Kind of nice. Go back and you can change the border thickness until it's like quite sort of chunky. And I thought that worked out quite nicely, really, as a logo. I was quite into that. Okay, so there's a couple of ways in which you can do your logos. And again, maybe here, this will be like, I'll call this Shadow Strike. There we go, Shadow Strike. Okay, and then again, you can share it however you want. You can collaborate with people by putting email addresses in. You can also download it here as well. So I'll download that one. Okay, cool. Now, that's how to create a logo. You've seen to use the template that's on the web page here. You can use that template just as a starting point and then go off on your own tangent, or you can use the logo maker. Now, the next one you've got here is your esports journalism competition. Create an article using Adobe Express, interviewing, you see down here, interviewing your esports team and upload it to Adobe Express. Okay. It's got some questions you can ask people, journalism question prompts. What are each team member's strengths, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is write an article using the Adobe Express template here. Give that a click, and this will open up here. Now, you can use the template, yeah, no problem. And then this is in here. So this could be like Dom Journo, that's fine. Okay, so create an article, esports game. Now, all of this I'm going to change, right? So the name of the paper can be the Esports Express, something like that. 21st of June, 2020. 2025, let's say it was an article in the past. That's absolutely fine. Now, what I'm going to do is, you can see here by moving this text that they've kind of done this kind of cool thing with these lines here. I'm going to get rid of those. I think our logo and stuff like that is going to be more than enough. So what I'm going to do here is UK's hottest esports, and I'll change that to esports team, something like that. Question mark, something like that. Right. So we'll pretend that we've got like Shadow Strike, for example. Maybe this can be changed to team profile, something like that. Esports team profile. UK's, and then here you can change this to be like Shadow. What are we calling it? Shadow Strike is the hottest new team to enter the UK esports arena. It's 3 members joined forces recently to set the esports world alight. Something like that. Now, what you can do is you can be like playing around with the size of the text until it kind of, hits the edge of the box, and you have to play around with where it sits. That sits pretty nicely. I'm quite happy with that. But if you wanted it to be a bit narrower, you don't want to go too far. You want to make sure that it sits. There we go. That's kind of nice. Okay. Now, you see all of this stuff here. You've got 3 images, for example, and then you've got 3 sections. Well, I mean, why don't we keep it as 3 sections? Let's put Sean, aka Madman. Right, that's yours, Sean. That's you. I'm going to get some details on you in a bit. And then we've got Kevin, aka Assassin. Is it double S both times? Maybe. I think it is. And then we've got who else have we got, Sean? You're all on mute.
Kieran and Gareth.
Urine, yeah. Okay. Urine, how do you spell your name?
Yiren.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I was gonna go back and look for it and thought, gosh, that'll seem so rude. Yiren. Right, okay, perfect. Yeah. Right. Let's get back to that view there. There we go, click in here. Yiren, aka the boss. Right. Okay. So we can do like a little profile on each person. Now, I think what I'll do is, I think I want to get see, we've got quite a lot of page here, you see. And what I want to do is shove all of these things down a bit, give us a bit of space. So you can click on anything and move it, for example. But if you want to do like a whole chunk of stuff, I'm going to click and drag over this, and then I can move it down. Yeah, so give myself a bit more space. And also this section here, I think it's a little bit sort of too close there. That's fine. So what I can do here is I can use these 3 pictures here, and we'll use those for like team profiles, for example. So, so like here, I'm going to just delete that, right? It's got a placeholder background, which is kind of nice, actually. And I'll go over to media on the left-hand side, generate image, go for square. Right. Let me think what Sean would look like as a graphic. So tough looking bloke, big muscles, aviator, sunglasses, slicked back hair. I mean, it's just basically Maverick, isn't it? That's what we've got. So you can generate that. And, if you want to make it bigger, you can have a look, and that'll give you a nice this will give you a nice kind of size for you to choose from, for example. Maybe I could have done that as a 3. We could get the whole team in there, because what you can see, here he is. Yes, like that. That one. No, I think this one. This is Sean here. Perfect. I'll pop him in there like that. And then, maybe here would be, maybe here we could swap this out for the logo. So you could replace this, and you could replace with an upload, and then I could get, the Shadow Strike logo. It could be in there, for example. And then, whatever you want to do in here, you can go to replace, go to photos, and then like esports. Like, I'm just showing you different ways in which you can do things. Maybe this is Kevin here, for example, something like that. Okay, cool. And then in the text down the bottom, this is where you can, you can add as much or as little as you like here. So I'm just showing you how you might, change things up. The background is kind of this cream color. You can change the background up here, for example. And then you could, change it to a white if that's just a bit better, a bit clearer, for example, or maybe like a gray, or maybe that's too dark. You could go into custom, and you would start moving it about so it was a little bit brighter, but still had a little bit of grain behind it, something like that. Okay. So here down the bottom, for example, maybe I don't need to give myself as much space as I thought up here, so I can kind of move these. But say like, so maybe somewhere to there. But say with my text, for example, if I just go and copy that text in here, and then, paste it in here, I'll do the same in here, just so that you can see that, if you had a bit more text in here, whatever you're going to write in these things, you would have more space. But then down the bottom, you could do things like we've got this red rectangle here. You can duplicate these things, bring that down here, for example, and it would be like, it could be like follow the team, and I'm just going to put their social media handles in here, for example. So it might be, you would go to elements, and you would go to icons, search icons, play button, something like that. Then maybe it would be like you stick that in here. Now it's defaulted and thinking that I want a red, but I don't want a red because it's a red on red, you see. That's not going to work, so I've got to go and change that to that black fill there. Then maybe you would stick that down there. And you can see that it's always giving you alignments all the time, which is really handy. So I'll stick that in there, and then I could go to text, add your text, and it'd be like youtube.com/shadow strike. Now, I've got that piece of text in here, and it's quite big, but one of the handiest buttons in here is in text layouts. Go to text layouts, go to dynamic, and that means that no matter what you do, you could put a break in there, for example, and then you got the YouTube handle in there, which is pretty cool. And then if you were going to put, what other? They'd probably put Twitch, wouldn't they? I don't think we could go and get like a Twitch logo, but if you want to see them live, for example, you can put in whatever logos you want. You are in an education space, so you don't need to worry too much about copyright and stuff like that. But and then I could get this text, and I could 3-dot it, duplicate it just to make it easier. And then that could be twitch.com/shadow strike, if that's how they work. I have absolutely no idea whatsoever. And then, maybe you put their Instagram on the bottom or something like that. So that's a nice way of being able to profile, putting logos in that you've put in there and stuff like that. Okay. I think the last thing to show, unless I'm mistaken, Sean, is how you would do like a video or something like that. Is that correct?
Yep. Brief bit of time on the video. It's been amazing so far. Thanks, Dom. So
yeah, no worries. The way I would probably do this, you see, is because I want to keep a lot of this, because I want to use a lot of this text and images and stuff like that in my video. What I would probably do here is go to add a page down the bottom here, right? I go to add a page, and I'd go to like, custom size is a bit tricky actually because you've got to know exactly what dimensions you want this. So I'd cancel that. Just go to add page. Just put same size. That's fine because once you're in here, you can then go to resize, and I want to change it to video and do a landscape video here. Resize. Okay, cool. Now, once it's in there, I'm going to go to three dots and edit timeline, and it's going to say like drag and drop media to get started. So let me get myself a little bit of space here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put like I'm going to take UK's hottest esports team. I'll probably take this piece of text. So I'm pressing shift and just clicking on those things. And then I'm just going to do copy, control and C on my keyboard, right? And then I'll go down to where I'm going to do my video, paste that all in. Now, the background, I can just go to, just trying to get the zoom out of the way. Thank you, zoom. Go to background color. And I've got my dropper tool, and I can select that red that's just up here, you see. And now all of my background is there. Now, what am I going to do with this? This is going to be kind of like my splash, my first kind of, my first scene in my video, right? And the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to record a voiceover. And that's the reason why I brought this text in here. All right. So if I go to add audio down the bottom, I can go to the record voiceover here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that text that's on the screen there. I'm going to read it out, and then I'm going to delete it because I don't need it. Because if you're doing it with voiceover, then you can get rid of it. So record voiceover. I'll use, yeah, that's fine. Use the MacBook and do start recording. You can see it's got the enhanced speech. If you're in a busy classroom, make sure that's on. Shadow Strike is the hottest new team to enter the UK esports arena. Its three members joined forces recently to set the esports world alight. Okay, now that's gone in there. Now what I'll do is, because that's quite a long voiceover, I'll make sure that I can stretch that first scene out, because you can see it's put this kind of blank scene in for me. And that's because I went over the initial length of the first one. Now I'll just stretch it so it's past there. Now I can delete that bit of text there. And then what I think I'll do is I'm in media already. So I'll go to videos. Let's search for esports in here. What do we get? Okay. I want something that's got like, would be quite good for it to have plenty of action in there. Yeah, this one's pretty cool. Add as layer on canvas. Yes, please. Okay. So that is now in there. You can see it up the top there. Now it will go in wherever your playhead is. So my playhead wasn't at the start, you see. So, but that's okay because I can just click it and drag it back to the start. Now I don't want it to be completely dominating this whole thing. So what I'll do is I'll move it to the side like this. I'll just zoom out a bit so I've got a bit more space. Oh, come on. And then what I think I'll do with it, let me get this down a bit. Click that one, and then I'll maybe rotate it ever so slightly. So it's got like a kind of funky angle. Bring it up here, bring it up there. And then maybe what I can do is esports team. I'll click that and I'll put that, bring to front. And then I'll also put an outline on it. There we go. UK's hottest esports team. And then you can click play on it. There we go. Right. So this is where, there we go. Let me go back in here. You can go back to edit timeline here. You can see, what you can see is that my video, where's it gone now? Let me go back to here. This one is not long enough right now to cover my voiceover all the way, you see. So what I can do with that is reduce the speed ever so slightly, and then it'll go to the end, you see.
Dom, just to know, we couldn't hear your voiceover because we're presenting, obviously, so...
Oh, that's a shame.
Definitely
okay,
there.
yeah. Yeah, no worries. That was the best bit about it. It's the only good bit about it. Now, so now that you've got this extra, you had this extra scene, you can easily just add a scene in as well. You just press the plus. Then I would be maybe doing like a profile on each person here, for example. So here it might be esports esports player, right? So here's where you could be like, put it in, add as a layer on the canvas. So say like this is, you're pretending like this is someone on your team, for example. Let's have a little play or scrub through and see what this video is like. There we go. So that's pretty cool. And then you could easily put your playhead like at the start of the scene, for example, go to text, and this would be like Sean, aka the Madman, right? And then you can text layouts, dynamic. Let's change the color of that. Let's make it really simple and nice and clean. White, outline color black. You can also increase the size of that outline thickness, like that, for example, and then you can bring that up. And if you change, there we go. That's nice. I like that. You can change the size of that. And again, you can put your voiceover in there. So you go to media, for example, audio, record voiceover, and just do something nice and simple. Sean is the beating heart of this team. If Sean's not there, the game is not won. Something like that, whatever. Sean's loving it. And then, you can trim back your scene to go where it needs to go. I won't play it back because obviously you can't hear it. But this is how you're building up your scenes, right? You're clicking and adding, clicking and adding. You can also add things that you've made. For example, you could go back to pages, go here, for example, and if this is the one you wanted, you would copy that, go back to your video, edit the timeline, and then add a blank scene. And maybe this time, this is Kevin, for example. You're bringing him in, as big as possible, for example, putting some text on there, that kind of thing. Now, I will also show you, because as well as text, and you want to do voice over this video, I would think a little bit of voiceover. Maybe you can put some text in, but I would definitely want to be putting audio in there. So search audio. I mean, what I tend to sort of do is, what would I search for? Like high energy, something like that. I don't know.
While you're looking up that, sometimes I have noticed that you can use TikTok songs as well, but I think you can only share them to TikTok. That popped up on mine the other day.
Right.
That's yet
okay,
to come,
cool.
But yeah, that'd be a good one for the students out there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah. I mean, the electronic stuff would be quite good, I suppose. You can go to the electronic category. You want to make sure that whatever length your video is, I mean, mine's only got a couple of scenes, so it's only 22 seconds long. But, you want to make sure that your soundtrack is long enough to cope with your video. Can you hear that coming through now? No, right. Okay. So, whatever you're choosing, you want to make sure that it is exactly what it is a length you need. So that one's 1 minute 26 seconds. So I'll be sticking that in there, and you can see that is now, you've got your voiceover, you've got your soundtrack on there, and you want to be making sure that your volume of your soundtrack isn't going to take out the volume of your speech. So your speech should always be at 100%, but then your soundtrack roughly is somewhere around 20. It can be anything, between sort of 10% and 25%, depending on what kind of track you go for. And, whenever you're ready, and I know you can't hear the audio on this, but I must say that having videos in there is quite a cool thing to keep that kind of visual action, quite stimulating for the viewer. So I can hear the track and I can hear my voiceover. And it really makes a difference and you can do things like, how does the text come in? So you've got animation, stuff like that. So you can have it, maybe wobbling is maybe not the coolest for esports. I don't know, but you can have it kind of drift in and that kind of stuff. And you can set the speed of that, etc., etc. Like Sean was saying before, you can download everything here. You can download it as an before. But you can also collaborate with other people in real time on it by adding in their email addresses. You can also send them into Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, etc., and give people a link where they can access your work.
Can I just check, Ewan, where are the students sharing their projects for the competition? Have you got any details on that?
Yeah, I can do that. They email dsh@uki.org.uk. So all entries to dsh@uki.org.uk, and I'll put that in the chat.
Sure. And obviously,
Cool.
yeah, if you're doing that, yeah, just you double check that it's a shareable link and everyone can see it. Yeah, that'd be fab. Oh, Dom, that's been amazing. I think that's been really good. Appreciate that. And me and Kevin were doing a side chat going, this is amazing. What a legend. Yeah, thanks for that.
Cool. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so we're coming to an end now. So we've been sort of catching up with any questions already in the chat. But yeah, do go back, and I know a lot of you are teaching now. Go back and watch this, and yeah, we've got some Adobe Express are involved with the competition, haven't we? We've got some giveaways and different things. So yeah, it's a really really cool competition to be involved with, and yeah, Digital Schoolhouse. Yeah, we're so happy to be partnering with them on this esports competition. So, anything else from our sponsors, or our teammates? Sorry, Digital Schoolhouse.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. I mean, just in a short amount of time there, just to see the amount of options and ideas, and I can see kids getting hold of this and making some incredible stuff. So yeah, really exciting to see kids and give them a bit of freedom to play around, and then enter the competition to pick up some prizes and win some certificates for their school. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. It's been amazing.
Thank you so
Cool.
much. And yeah, for everybody watching the video recording, if you have any questions, feel free to also email them to dsh@uki.org.uk, and then we can put you in touch with the our partners at Adobe. And yeah, thank you all very much.
Thank you, everyone.
No
Yeah, thank
problem.
you.